serving a roll of this quality is really special. A lot of students don't even get fresh baked bread like you're producing anywhere else other than in their kitchens. So you want to do it really well. The best way to produce your dinner rolls is sheet pan, parchment paper, spray it, lay out just like cookie dough. Now you can do it a little closer, that frozen dough, but similar to how you do cookie dough, a little bit of space in between. And then it's gonna go into your cooler the night before. We're not gonna return it to the freezer. You do wanna cover that sheet pan so that your dough doesn't get a shell or harden. The morning of production, depending on when you want your rolls done, is when you're gonna put them in your proofer. If you want your rolls a little closer to service, just wait to put them into the proofer. If you wanna go ahead and do your rolls first thing in the morning because you have an oven heavy day, put them in the proofer first thing in the morning. The proofer essentially is setting a timer, and that is activating your dough, and it's going to cause that yeast that is still alive when it's in the cooler, just at a very slow rate. It's going to waken it up. It's like when we have coffee in the morning. We come alive. That yeast comes alive as soon as your rolls go into the proofer. So overnight, we're doing a slow rise because it's in the cooler. And then when we put it in the proofer, it's gonna start to rapidly rise. Now, you're looking for that dough to double in size. Making homemade bread or quick scratch bread, which is what you're doing, there's a bit of an art to it. If you pull the rolls too soon, they're not gonna be, as large and soft as these are. If you wait too long, if you've ever gotten rolls deflated and they're wrinkly, it's because they've overproofed. Once they're proofed, there's not a lot of live yeast left. So if you leave it in the proofer too long, it's gonna die off and it's just gonna deflate. So be mindful of it, watch it. You'll start to learn your kitchen as well and know I can put this many pans in the proofer. It's gonna take approximately 60 minutes, 90 minutes for it to double in size. Once they double in size, it's critical to get them from the proofer to the oven as quickly as possible. So knowing when you're gonna cook your dinner rolls and knowing you have a dedicated oven for that is very important to the outcome of this product. One of your convection ovens or two of your convection ovens, depending on the volume, at 250 degrees. We're gonna go straight from the proofer into the oven. Cooking them at a lower temperature is gonna ensure that they're not too brown and that the inside is cooked. If you've ever pulled a pan and you break open one of the center rolls and it's still a little doughy, however the outside looks like it should be done, it's because the oven's too high. 250 degrees, 20 minutes. When you bring it out of the oven, spray them with your pan spray. That's what we've done here, and this beautiful shine just gives it a really nice finish without incorporating butter, and it's also very, very fast. Now, you'll see we have some that, are not quite the same size as ours in the center. A couple things can happen from that, depending on if there's a cold spot in the proofer, how frequently the proofer was opened. If these were towards the door, it's gonna get a brush of that cooler air and they're not gonna rise quite as much. These are still great, delicious rolls. If you had anything that, was really off, that's where you do quality control. I'm not serving that roll. I'm gonna save it and it could be turned into croutons, or we can make a breakfast casserole or a bread pudding. But this is what you're looking for. Now, and this gives you an example of we've started to overproof and now we're wrinkling. We're all about speed and efficiency in the kitchen because we're producing a lot of food. You guys have extremely high volume jobs and you are multitasking and managing a lot. It can be easy to just start grabbing at these rolls. Never forget the level of expertise and care that you put into producing this product. If I start grabbing at these, since this was a little overproof, I can show you, it wants to sponge together. And you can see a pan this beautiful quickly turn into something not as appealing. That can also happen if you're putting these in a pan that's too deep, because then these rolls on the bottom are just going to compress. So give a level of care when you're lifting them off the pan and when you're taking them apart. And it doesn't take a lot of time. However, I'm also not going to go with these as though I'm grabbing, I don't know, a hot dog off a pan to put into the bun. So make sure from start to finish, you don't miss any detail, because serving a roll of this quality is really special. And a lot of students don't even get fresh baked bread like you're producing anywhere else other than in their kitchens. So you want to do it really well.